All right. Welcome back to Eyes Open Media. Okay, so we're gonna talk about what's coming soon. Okay, not prophecy stuff like that, but I'm just talking about for our investment in Iraq and for what's going on in the world. Let's just talk about what's coming soon. I did talk about this yesterday. I did do a post, not on Eyes Open Media, but I did do a post about it on my personal page and my Facebook page. So we'll expand more on that and we'll talk about that. So the number one thing that that we see coming soon is Eastern Mosul fully 100% liberated. Okay, so as you guys know, we've been fighting this battle of Mosul for about 88 days, 89 days, whatever you want to call it. So the Iraqis say it's 89 days, and I say it's 88 days because we started in the Western world. So I don't know where you guys are from. If you guys are in the Eastern world, if you guys started in the Eastern world when the war started, then excuse me, then you're probably at 89 days. If you started with us in the Western world, then you're at 88 days. Okay, so it all depends on what part of the world you're at. Um, I know a lot of us have gone other places since the war has started in Mosul, and because it's been 80 something days. So some of you guys are now in the Eastern world, and you started in the Western world, you're now in the Eastern world. Some of you guys are up north now. Some of you guys have traveled south. Some of you guys are all over the world. So some of you guys are in Iraq. Some of you guys are in wherever you might be in. Okay, so it doesn't really matter. We are. They're saying that it could take until March to complete this, man. It could take until February. It could take till late January. It's gonna be up to how fast they want to go, okay? Because at some points they go very fast, and then some points they take their time, okay? In 2 days we liberated like 50, like almost close to like 50 areas in 2 days, and then the next 2 days we only liberated like 10 areas. So it all depends on how fast they want to go and how fast they want to speed it up, okay? But it looks like we're gonna have hopefully it looks like we're gonna have Eastern Mosul done before the inauguration. Okay, I actually wanted, it's already Thursday. I didn't even realize it was Thursday, because I don't think we're gonna have Eastern Mosul done by Sunday. That's kind of, it is what it is, man. Because look, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's only 3 more days. I don't know if we're gonna have Eastern Mosul done in 3 days. Just by looking at the map, my team provides, and it doesn't look like we're gonna have it done in the next 3 days because it looks like they're not going as fast as I thought they were going to continue. If they were going as fast as they were doing on Tuesday and Wednesday, then we would have had it done. We would have had it done by Sunday. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case. It looks like we're going to have Eastern Mosul done before Trump's inauguration. Okay. So yeah. And I don't. And also, the next thing I was talking about was Abadi's decision to go to Davos or to skip Davos. And I did say that Abadi will probably skip Davos and send Soleil or somebody else. I don't. He might go to Davos. He might go to Davos. It's up to him. I'm just giving you my opinion. He shouldn't go. But if he wants to, brag about, the a new Iraq, a new liberated Iraq, a new economic reform, the new economic policies and the international and bring it in the world. If he wants to go and gloat about that and brag about that, then by means just go ahead and do it. But with a program, well, look, it's not a they have a program rate because they haven't shown us the rate yet. But as you guys saw from the auctions today on the report, they don't have program rate on the auctions any longer. Okay, so the auctions don't have a program rate. They don't actually have a rate at all. Okay, so there's no rate on the auctions, the daily auctions since the beginning of the year, and there's no rate on the auctions on the CBI site as well. So the spreadsheet doesn't have any rate for the auctions except for the market rate, and the CBI is only showing the price of the value, of the bank. I mean, the banks and the remittance companies, and then the total amount. Okay, so we know that the IBAN was set up on the 2nd. Okay, and so that's gonna, they can't do that on the program rate. Okay, so the IBAN was set up. And that's why one of the reasons why there's no longer you don't see no longer a rate on the for the auctions on the spreadsheet. Okay. Also, because that's the international bank accounting numbers. You can't if you're gonna do that, you can't have a program rate. Okay, it's international. International doesn't work with a program rate. Okay, so yeah, so the CBI has also relieved themselves from the auctions. That's a clear sign. Okay, do we need Musil to see this thing happen? It would be awesome to see Musil completed, Abadi plant the flag, and them change the rate at the same time. That's what I really want to see. Now, do I want to wait till March or April? No. So maybe we have Eastern Musil before the inauguration, and then once he comes back from the inauguration, for we're in the final hours of Western Mosul. That could be the case. I mean that's what I said yesterday. So okay, so third would be the inauguration. No, the IMF. No, not the IMF, but the IMF already passed them in their review. So I think there's another review coming up actually for the IMF as well. And I think the IMF is going to wait until they change the value to have that review. There's no point in having another review unless you change the value. So the next thing was the United Nations. The United Nations lifting Iraq fully out of Chapter 7. Okay, I believe it's gonna be. I believe they're gonna announce something this week. Okay, they should announce something this week. I thought it was gonna be last week. Instead, they gave us the big announcement that I should have actually did breaking news on that because that was pretty big. It was a clear sign that Iraq is out of Chapter 7 when they told young investors and investors around the world to come on in to invest in Iraq in the Basra financial system. So that was a clear sign. And that was a couple of days after I sent them a message on Twitter, or actually I sent them a note on Twitter saying, look, you guys got to announce that Iraq's out of Chapter 7 in January. So, and then a couple of days later, not saying that I did it, but it was just weird timing. And then a couple of days later, they say, come on into the Basra, come on in, young investors all around the world, to Basra, the financial sector of Iraq. So that was kind of interesting, the timing on that. Also, and that was last weekend. This weekend, I'm looking for Chapter 7. I don't know if they're going to give us Chapter 7 this weekend, or they're going to, excuse me, or they're going to say that they're going to give us a date on when they're going to remove Iraq out of Chapter 7 or vote for the removal of Iraq out of Chapter 7. That's what they could do. They could say the United Nations has prepared a date to vote Iraq out of Chapter 7, and that could be, they could say January 30th. Okay, they could say February 5th. You know what I mean? So if that is the case, we're not going to see nothing until that. Okay, because that's a clear sign that we need to see them out of Chapter 7 for them to be fully international. Okay, so for everything to be international, they have to be out of Chapter 7. So it's going to be up to the United Nations. So keep watch this weekend for a statement I hope it's tomorrow. But it could be Saturday. The the United Nations like to do things on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays for big announcements. So we'll see. Usually the United Nations is Saturday and Sundays, and the IMF is Friday at 4 p.m. So it doesn't matter. We'll find out hopefully this weekend if they had voted Iraq for Chapter 7 and they have lifted it, or if they're going to set a date to vote Iraq out of Chapter 7. Okay, so we'll just look for that. Hopefully, if they do set a date, it's in January. Okay, hopefully they do set a date. It's January 30th or January 27th or something like that. Okay. What else? Then after that was Trump's inauguration, and I hope you guys are still praying for Trump. The next president. Hopefully, you guys are praying for him and making sure that he's protected all the way up to the inauguration, and then during the inauguration, and then after the inauguration, because they're really going to try to come after him after the inauguration. This is what the elites do. The elites, when they see that they have that they have lost something, they'll let somebody have it, and then once you have it, they'll come after you. Okay, so it's just, that's how they play the game. They'll allow you to, they'll say, okay, allow him to stay alive and become president, and then as soon as you become president, they'll then try to take you out. So yeah, and so and then one of the reasons why they do that is it's more money that way. If Donald Trump is president and then they take him out, they can sell that story to Hollywood. They can make money off of it. They can make billions off of it, like they've done to John F. K. and all the other presidents that they have killed. They've made tremendous money off of that. So what they will do is they'll allow him to become president. I know Obama wants to stay in office, and he'll do some things, probably some more things here. Maybe try to split the land of Israel before it's, or at least vote to split the land of Israel before it's time. We will see. You got to pray. We got to pray about that as well. We don't want him to do that, because we know that if they split the land of Israel, that they're going to split the land of America. So we got to make sure that we got to pray that he doesn't do that. But if he does, then it is what it is. He continued to fulfill the judgment of prophecy, and he is a judgment on the land, as God kept saying it to most of these many prophets. He's judgment on the land. So it doesn't matter if you like Obama or not. The prophets have spoken. The many prophets have spoken and seen the man in the spiritual realm, and they know how evil he is in the spiritual realm. And the God has called him judgment on the land. So it doesn't matter how you feel. It doesn't matter who you are. If there's 20 prophets that have seen the same thing, in different forms, then you gotta sit back and say, wait a minute, how come I'm not seeing that? And it's because you're worldly. Maybe because you listen to worldly music. Maybe because you watch worldly television and things of that nature, and it's blocking you from hearing from God and seeing from God. How about that? Okay, because a lot of worldly people like Obama. Have you noticed that? Holy people don't like Obama. Worldly people do. That's why I keep it moving with them, because I understand that if you're living worldly, if you're listening to demonic music and all this foolishness, and listening and watching all this foolishness, you can't hear the Lord. You're not walking right in the Lord. So you can go ahead and praise Obama all day, but us that are holy, we can see and we can hear what God is saying, and he's been calling him judgment on the land for a long time. Okay. So it is what it is. You're either going to believe the prophets that are true and they speak the word of God, or you're going to listen to your worldliness. who you think is right? Okay. So at the end of the day, I don't really care what other people say. So anyways, let's move on from there. What else is going on? Trump's inauguration on the 20th. And then I believe Abadi is going to meet with him either on the 20th or the 21st to the 23rd. Maybe even before. He might meet with him before if he doesn't go to Davos. Okay, so I don't know who's going to be in Davos. It could be Abadi. Abadi might speak on the first day. He might speak on the second day, and then take a flight out to the inauguration. I know Benjamin Netanyahu, Israeli Prime Minister, is not going to Davos. He's going to the inauguration. So Obama's supposed to be at the inauguration as well. I want to see Obama, Trump, and Abadi stand next to each other. That's what I want to see. Or we might see Obama or we might see Trump and Abadi stand next to Obama, but turn the opposite way, like Obama and Christine Lagarde did to Abadi. Wouldn't that be interesting? Wouldn't that be decoding? How would I know that? How would I know that might happen? If you see a picture of that, send it to me. And the picture is going to be Donald Trump and Abadi talking to each other, turning their backs on Obama. If you see that picture on the 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, whatever the case may be, it's most likely going to be on the 20th if Abadi shows up. Send me that picture, because I just told you here. Okay? So anyways, yeah. And then also we're going to come into Western Mosul final hours of that, and then you guys know what happens after that. Abadi's going to go and plant the flag in the final hours and give us the liberation of Mosul, and also they're going to launch the national reconciliation. And if the rate hasn't changed, the rate will change as well. The IMF will put the new rate in there, and I think that is it. And yeah, the purchasing power and back onto the international world, like where they belong. They should have done it last year, and we all had to wait and patiently and see it happen this year. But it is what it is. All right, so that's it for me. These are the things that are coming soon. And if you see a picture of Abadi and Trump turning their backs on Obama, send it to me. Eyes open.